Hi everybody, it's Net from the Art of Intuition. Today we're going to talk about confusion. Why do we feel confused? Why can we not get an answer? Why do we not know what to do? Confusion is simply your head and your heart, and they both want different things. So you're kind of battling it out. You don't know which one to listen to. That's why we get confused. We're trying to think with our head, even though our heart's telling us to do something else. So it's a confusing state. We don't know which one to do. When we're really in our humanness and our human realities and our human aspects, it can be very hard for us to determine which one's which. A lot of people say, oh, I just live from my heart. You know, it's very easy to say you live from your heart, but normally people don't 100% understand that. But you really can't until you start living through realities that are getting you to choose some pretty radical things over what your head would say. Everything you've ever been told has nothing to do with ascending your consciousness. It's completely different than that. Everything is different. And it takes a lot of time to reprogram yourself to understand that. And really not understand that, that's probably not the right word, but you really want to be able to feel the difference. What's my head saying I should do and what's my heart saying I should do? Because you always want to go with the heart. And people will say that, oh, I live from my heart, until it's really uncomfortable. Until they really feel they're supposed to pack up everything and move halfway across the country and not really have a set job and maybe just travel for a couple of years. They really, if they might not have the funds to do that. But in this moment, that's what they feel like they're supposed to do. And someone would look at that and go, wow, that's really following your heart. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Shouldn't you have a job maybe there when you get there, or have something you're going to do? How are you going to make money? So we start thinking about all that stuff. We start trying to linear it out. You know, okay, maybe I'll do it this way, or I'll go at another time, or I'll go when I have this much money. It's not as easy as just saying it. Usually it's doing the opposite of what you would have done before. We're going to say pre-ascension. When you were really in your human realities, what would you do? Because that's what you're ingrained in your DNA. That's what your head is going to instruct you to do. It's going to get you to go back to those old programs. You know, you have to have this in place. You have to have all this set up beforehand. You have to do this before that. It's very much, I'm going to go back to the Field of Dreams movie because I think that's a good indication of feeling really strongly about something that made no logical sense. And it's almost kind of a tagline for ascension when you're in those rebuilding your realities. It's got like a build it and they will come. And it makes no sense to anybody else. You're building all this stuff and no one understands what you're doing when they're in that level of consciousness, the human level of consciousness, when they're really living by the human rules. Because, you know, humans have rules they live by. And when you're outside of that, it doesn't make any sense to them. They don't understand what you're doing. And you might not even understand what you're doing. And you know it doesn't make any sense. That's where the confusion sets in, because you don't know what you're supposed to do. This doesn't fit into the old roles of what reality was supposed to look like, what decisions were supposed to be. In the human reality, we're taught, you know, to keep things going and keep working. And it's not that you're not doing that when you're in your higher aspects, you're building the higher vibrational realities. You are, but you do it from a very different place. Everything you do is just for what you can put, the kind of product you can put out, the kind of service you can be into humanity. And that can be anything from, you know, hiking around for a year because you really want to get in tune with Mother Nature or Gaia and you want to do that. Makes no sense, but you're building up your soul body, you're building up your connection, and that's a service to humanity. And that's what you feel like you're supposed to do right now. And we'll always be supported in those endeavors. It's just, it won't be the linear way. It won't be how we thought it would be. And it can be challenging because we really can't do it the linear way. We can't do it the old way. There's a lot of ways I could do different things to build, I mean, I guess I would say a following of work or bill or get more out in the community in certain ways, or more out internationally. But there's certain things I can't participate in. There's certain things I can't do because they're not aligned. So you find yourself passing on a lot of stuff that would be really awesome in a sense. It would be easier, but you're not really allowed to do them because you know they're karmic timelines. They don't feel right. You know it's too many rules there, too many things you can't do. You have a lot of, exclusivity on a lot of stuff, and we really can't do that because all of our information is shared with everyone. In a sense, you can't really have a lot of that stuff going on. You can't really market yourself. Everything someone's going to tell you to do, you're like, yeah, I can't do that. And when we do that, it doesn't really work out the way we want it to work out because we're playing in the old systems. So there is a lot of confusion on what your head's going to tell you to do and what your heart's going to tell you to do. Usually I do the opposite of what I would have normally done. And I also have someone that I see in my life, and I know the aspect of me that person, that person represents a lot of aspects of me, but that person represents one aspect in me that's extremely human. And when I see how they would do it, I know immediately I have to do the opposite. That's kind of the role they play for me. I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta do the other way. I want to do it the way you're saying because it sounds easier, but I can't do it that way. I gotta do it this way. You have to do it with the highest integrity. And when you're in your human aspects, you don't really know what that is. Humans have no idea what integrity is because we've never been taught integrity. We've been taught human integrity. We've been taught kind of don't lie, cheat, and steal, yet we lie, cheat, and steal every day, in a sense, because we want to get to a certain place. We've been conditioned to do certain things. How do we know? And I wish I could answer that. It's just feeling through it. Look at what you would have done. Look at what's the more difficult thing to do, because that's normally the one you're going to have. You're human. The one you don't want to do, normally that's the one you're going to have to do, because it's going to make you uncomfortable. And that's the purpose of having to go that route. You can't do it the easy way. You can't take the easy way out. You can't dip and dodge and get out of it. You have to do it the harder way. Even though it is the quickest way to get through the energy and get to the next reality, we could kind of bebop around it, but it's not the quickest way. It's not the most efficient way. It might seem harder in the moment to do it one way, but it's really the most direct way to get out of that reality and into another one. Okay, good luck, and keep practicing the art of intuition.